Welcome to Relationships and Chill. This is Coach R. Anthony, and this is the start of another amazing series. I want to do a series every season of the podcast, and this season I'm going to be focusing on the fulfilled marriage or the fulfilling marriage. This is part one. It's going to be a 5-part series full of amazing content, so make sure you share it and tell everybody about it, because it's going to be some groundbreaking information that will show you how to get your relationship, whether you're married or whether you're just dating or in a committed relationship, how to get that to a forever status, how to get that to that happily ever after status that everybody wants. We're going to be focusing in on that for this series. It's going to be, like I said, 5 episodes. And so you guys sit tight, enjoy, and let me know what you think. Peace.
You're listening to Relationships and Chill, the podcast for singles and couples about how to find and cultivate the relationship you've always dreamed of, based on trust and honest communication. Why waste your time going through the typical dating obstacle course, only to end up with drama, jealousy, and heartbreak, when you can find the love of your life and live happily ever after? So sit back, chill, and get ready to make relationships great again.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome to another edition of the Relationships and Chill podcast. And today we're going to be starting a series called the Fulfilled Marriage series. This is going to be part 1, where I'm going to be focusing in on how to create a fulfilling marriage. What does it take to create a fulfilling marriage? Now, notice I am not using the word happy, because I don't think that the overall objective, I don't believe and feel that the overall objective of a relationship is happiness, because happiness is predicated upon circumstance. And circumstances are something that you really just can't control most of the times. And it's based on a feeling. If you can be happy, then you can be sad, and so I'm focusing on fulfilling something. When I look at fulfillment, I look at something that is encompassing the space that is available. And as you expand, you look for more ways to encompass that space of your expansion as an individual and as a couple and as a family. So, but if you don't know what fulfills you, meaning, like, if you're hungry, you're going to be looking for something to fill your body. You're going to look for something to satisfy that hunger and fill that space, that empty space that's within you. And a lot of people complain about, just having that void within them and having that empty space that something is missing. And that kind of carries over into most relationships. So I want to focus on building and creating a fulfilled relationship within the confines of two individuals that come together to create something unique that's unique to them. So that's the focus on this particular series. It's going to be 5 parts to this series. And I encourage you guys to let people know to listen to the podcast. If they want an amazing relationship, this is the place to come. The ultimate podcast for relationships and dating. Our aim and our mission is to make relationships great again. That is the mission here at Relationships and Chill. And we want to bring the best information. I hope you guys have been enjoying the interviews and the content that we provided thus far. And like I said in the intro, I want to create a series every season so I can expand myself and give you guys more in-depth teachings about what I believe and what I know about relationships. Now, I ain't charging you, but this is going to be really a fraction of what's to come in some series that some courses that I'm creating, that I'm working on right now to bring to you guys. And then that is going to be a lot of hours of training and teaching on how to build lasting relationships. Now, we're going to add some happiness in there, but happiness should not be the goal. It should not be the objective, because there's a lot more things to focus on in life than just your happiness. You're not going to be happy always, but you're going to always want and seek to fulfill that void that's within you and within the marriage or the relationship or whatever the case may be. So regardless if you're in a relationship or if you're married, this series is for you, and the courses and things that are coming down the pipeline will also be for you. So make sure you stay tuned. Check out relationshipsandchill.com, because that's where most of the information that I'm going to be providing will be stemming from or going to, one way or the other. So make sure you do that. Make sure you subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you are up to date with everything that comes through here. Because like I said, check out the interviews. We're still getting better at it. I will admit that. You know what I'm saying? We're still getting better at that. This is our first season of actually doing interviews with people outside of, you know, the home blend, the house blend. You know what I mean? We've been giving you guys the house blend. So we want to bring in other people who are able to contribute and bring their unique perspectives to, you know, what we have to offer. So I hope you guys have been enjoying that. And I'm working, y'all. I'm working on, you know, doing more videos and doing more other things and just expanding the reach of Relationships and Chill. I think I'm, excuse me, I think I'm going more towards premarital coaching, because for me, it's easier for me to focus. Now I can help, like, if you know how to build a car, you can easily repair a car, right? So that's my thinking as it relates to relationships. If I can build a great relationship and help other people build it from scratch, then when you have problems, I need to know more detail. And this is why it's hard for me to focus on, like, unless you guys are giving me specific issues that you're dealing with, I can break them down with no problem. But because I don't really get a lot of people kind of giving me specifics, then I don't, you know. But what I can do is show you how to build a car. I can't really show you how to repair it, because there's a lot more. Like if you go to your mechanic and you say, hey, I'm hearing this noise from my car and it sounds like it's coming from the engine, he's going to be like, okay, there's a lot of noises that come from the engine. Like, tell me more details. Like I need to know more about the issue. What's happening? Is it rattling? Is the car shaking and vibrating? Is it cutting off? There's a lot of other factors that go into an issue. So he just like, just bring in the car. Just bring it into the shop and I'll take a look at it. It ain't gonna be free, but I'll take a look at it for you. So like for me, I can say, hey, this is how you build a car. I can give you all the steps on how to build a car. These are the materials that you're gonna need. That's easy for me. I can do that all day. But when it comes to dealing with specific issues and problems as related to that car, that's where it's hard to just give general information, because there's so many moving parts to why this is happening in a relationship, or that, you know, that you guys are not really communicating, or you guys are distant now and there's no passion and there's no excitement in the relationship. There's so many moving parts, so many factors, and I break that down even better than premarital stuff. But I don't have a lot of material to work with, so that's what I was saying. That's what I've been saying. Like, if y'all ain't giving me nothing, then I can't do anything. But with this, I'm going to be focusing in more on what you need to do to go forward. And hopefully it'll help most of you guys out that are in relationships that are having problems. And then you can just, you know, use that to do whatever until you can build up, until you can muster the courage to either email me or, you know, message me on Instagram to ask me a specific question. But nevertheless, here we go. We're going to get into it. Let me take a swig of some water. Yeah. So we're going to get into the Fulfilled Marriage series. This is part 1. And part 1 is called Focusing on Forever, or Focusing on Forever. And in this area, it deals with the vision of the relationship. What does the relationship look like going forward? If you don't know what it's supposed to look like, then it's going to be very hard to know if you're on track to building it. Going back to my reference of building cars, if you don't know what the car is supposed to look like, it's supposed to drive like, and supposed to handle like, the specifics. This is why they get blueprints. This is why they construct the car before they actually construct the car. They actually go through and plan the car. They plan the vehicle. They plan how it's going to look. They plan where these different parts and these different components go. They don't just throw a car together. They don't just put the engine in, you know, where the tires go, and put, you know what I mean, the transmission and the driver's seat, and put the steering wheel. You know, there's a specific structure that they use in order to make sure that it performs the way that it's supposed to perform. Same thing with the boat, with the plane. You know, they're different. And it really starts in the design. It really starts in the planning phase, the vision phase. What does it look like? So this is very important if you're looking to get married, or if you're in a committed relationship, or getting ready to want to get into a relationship, you're dating somebody and it's getting serious. This is perfect for you, because until you understand what the vision of the relationships, and specifically, let me say this, because it's very important, because this is the thing that I try to tell men and women. I tell women this: when the man is off, the relationship will be off, because a lot of what the longevity of the relationship is dictated by the man, meaning his leadership or his ability to say, this is where we're going, this is where we're moving towards. Not saying he's just dictating. I'm saying like encompassing what a woman needs and wants and all that stuff into the overall bigger picture. He has to be able to project that towards an ideal vision or ideal goal. This is part of the planning phase. If he cannot do that, then your relationship will be absolutely off. Now, on the flip side, if a woman is off, her ability or inability to choose the right man will be off, meaning she will continuously attract and deal with the same type of guys that she's always complaining about. Because if you're not able to see what about yourself that draws certain types of men and why you're drawn to certain types of men, then you will forever complain and try to complain your way into a good man, or complain your way into a good relationship. This is why I created the husband material guy. So if you don't have that, you need to get that. I don't care if you're married, if you're single, I don't care what you are. If you're a woman that is wanting the best out of her husband, or wanting to find the best candidate for yourself, you need to get the husband material guide on relationshipsandchill.com. You'll see it if you scroll down. So if a woman is unable to choose correctly, and she's off in her ability to calculate what to really know what she's supposed to be looking for in a man, the attributes that make a man him, and that can lead to a long lasting relationship. And what are those things? The first thing on the list is vision. That goes for both men. You have to have a vision for what you want a relationship to look like. And when you're approaching these women, you need to be able to articulate your vision of how you look going forward in a long-term, long-lasting relationship, so that you don't mislead women into thinking. And I'm not saying that women are just misled because they don't know anything, because women know very well what they be doing. 9 times out of 10, they know exactly that they're attracted to this guy and they're sexually attracted to this guy, and he's not really misleading them at all. They know what they want. They just want it. After a while, they really want to control his attention and his energy, and when he doesn't give her that, then that's when the problems really occur, because it's really about control. See, for a man, it's about controlling the body and the mind. For a woman, it's about controlling the attention and the time, and that's the difference. So knowing that and having that ideology and looking at things from that perspective, then you'll begin to see, as a man especially, and I'm going to get to as a woman, but as a man specifically, what you need to present to a woman. Okay, and I talked about that before. I talk about men, you do not chase. You present. You present the vision that you have and what it's going to look like with you, as opposed to however many guys she has to choose from. What is it going to look like with you? The best optimum view of it. How is it going to look? That's how I would get women, like, hey, this is how it's going to look. Because I was doing it in the context of I'm presenting to you exactly what I have. I'm a great communicator. You're going to have fun. I'm not going to cuss. I don't even use profanity, so definitely not going to cuss you out. We're going to enjoy life. We're going to get to know each other. We're going to talk. We're going to communicate. We're going to have a great connection. We're going to have a lot of intimacy. We're going to have a lot of fun. We're going to have a great bond with each other. That was what I was presenting, and that's what women desired. And on the flip side, a woman's ability to know and be able to understand a man's vision is where most women go wrong, because a man without a vision will ultimately create dissatisfaction within a woman, because she doesn't know which way the direction that the relationship is going. So a lot of women are like, what are we? Well, the reason why women have to ask what are we is because a man has not presented a vision for the relationship. And if you do get into a relationship with a man without a vision, you will be flustered and frustrated at the fact that he just doesn't know and understand you in the relationship. So he doesn't understand you and how you fit into the relationship because he hasn't envisioned you fitting into the relationship. So how can he appreciate you? How can he show you what you think you want or what you think you believe you need as a woman in the relationship if he doesn't know what it's supposed to look like in the future anyway? So it can't work that way. This is why having a vision and knowing how to recognize a man with a vision is very important, is vitally important. But the first step in a vision and focusing in on forever, if you're in a relationship, if you're in a committed relationship, the first thing you have to do is look forward, look long term. What does that look like? Because even if you're a man with a vision, this is the good thing about being a man with a vision, because you can always incorporate someone who has the components to bring that vision into fruition. But if you have no vision, then it doesn't matter. You're just going to be looking at the physical. You're going to be looking at certain things that doesn't really mean anything, because all that's going to fade off anyway. As you get older, the pretty face gets wrinkly, the nice boobs get saggy, the big butt gets bigger. You know what I'm saying? And everything else just starts to whatever. You know, the muscles that the dude has now turns to flab, and you know his face is not as smooth as it used to be. His hairline's starting to thin. So there's a lot of other moving parts that come with it. But what's important at the beginning? And the most important things to focus on is, where are we going? If we were to just get in the car with each other, you wouldn't be like, okay, let's just go for a ride. I mean, I'm sure on some days you may be like that, but you ain't like that every day. You know what I'm saying? And then too, you ain't just gonna get in the ride. You ain't just gonna get in the car with somebody you don't know and say, let's just ride. That's asking to be kidnapped. But if you're with somebody that you know, somebody that you like, you have an affection for, an affinity for, you're going to ask that question. Where are we going? Because first of all, you want to calculate how much time we have together. Because if we're going down the street, then I know, okay, like we'll be back quick too. So it's not like you get to enjoy it. Now, if you say we're going from Georgia to Nebraska, then we got plenty of time. You know what I'm saying? But we have to know, what does it look like when we get there? Now, of course, if you're born in the United States, you know how to read signs that say, welcome to this state and that state. So that's easy. But knowing that we're going to this specific destination as opposed to just roaming free, that's where people run out of gas. And in the relationships, if you notice, that's where couples run out of gas too, when there is no vision of the relationship and how it's supposed to look. Where are you going? That's when you run out of gas, because you don't have any specific destination, or you don't have any particular points where you have to refresh and you have to refuel the relationship to say, okay, now let's get back on the road and keep moving towards our ultimate destination. So the ultimate destination is the most important thing. That's the first step is what does it look like when you get there? What does the relationship look like? What do you two look like at the optimum level of the relationship? How are you together? And a lot of women get caught up in that, even though it hasn't happened, or it happened 10 years ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago. They get caught up in that. Men too. I'm not saying men don't do it. Men do it too. Men get caught up in the idea. As humans, we get caught up in the idea of a person, not what they're continuously doing, not what they're continuously working towards, because we rather be comfortable in the fantasy than I want to say insecure. We'd rather be comfortable in the fantasy than a little on edge about the reality, or on edge about the reality. Like we'd rather know for a fact that it was like this or it could be like this than addressing the issue how it is, because that involves confrontation and conflict. And changing and growing and developing and taking some losses sometimes. You know, if you're not willing to take any losses and willing to grow and change, how can you grow as a couple if you're not willing to grow as an individual? And by that, I mean, if you're not willing to address the issues that need to be addressed, then you can't progress. So that's the first step. What does it look like? And like I said, it's extremely important for men to do this because you have to present it. If not, you don't not only throw off the relationship, but you throw off the future generations. You throw off the kids, the grandkids. Everybody is dependent upon the man. I know we like to thank the woman, and I know we like to uplift the woman, and that's cool. But we neglect and forget how important the man is, and we let men off the hook every time. And how a man is, and how he injects his philosophy into a woman is going to be transmitted along with his sperm into that woman. And that's what affects the children. So now you got children that are similar to the energy that's being provided by both male and female at the time of conception, or right before conception, or right after conception, is now attributing to the child's development. And that's affecting the child. So it's the same way with this. Before you get into a relationship, you got to know what you want, what it's going to look like, what it's going to cost you to get there. Just like before you have a child, you have to make sure that, okay, I'm healthy. I don't have any diseases. I don't have this going on, have that going on. I got to make sure that I am in the best shape to create a child. Same thing with the woman. You know, same thing with my wife. We have to make sure that we're in the best position to be able to create a healthy child. Same thing with the relationship. You have to be in the best position as a man and as a woman to create a healthy, fulfilling relationship. So the goal and the focus is on fulfillment. The goal and the focus is on expanding and constantly growing and changing and focus. And that is best done with a vision. It's like you wouldn't just go to the gym and just say, I'm just here to work out. No, you have a goal, or you have an idea of what you want to look like. You know, you want to have big muscles, or you want to have toned legs and nice calves, or, you know, a slimmer face, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Like, you have an idea. That's just how we work as humans. We work that way because that creates the motivation. So we're motivated by the idea, by the vision of what we see for ourselves and how it's going to affect people and how people are going to be inspired, or whatever the case may be, by our change, by our development, by our growth. So that's very important for men to really focus in on, looking long term at what this looks like for you as an older man. See, for me, I'm looking at it like as an older man. What do me and my wife do while I'm an older man, as an older couple? Who are we? We want to travel. We want to pass down knowledge and information and wisdom to our children. We want to read a lot of books and study a lot of things and teach people different things about relationships, about life, about the Most High, about all kinds of different things. We want to be able to do that as older elders, as elders. When we become elders, we want to be one of those couples that's been married 50, 60 years that people come to, that they want to get information on how they too can create the type of relationship that we've created. So why is this important though? Because the scripture says it like this: without a vision, the people perish. And to go deeper, it says without a vision, without a prophetic vision, people cast off restraints, meaning that they become careless. They drift apart. They drift away without a concrete idea of what's supposed to happen in the future, how it's supposed to look in the future. Without a concrete idea of how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to be, people begin to say, you know what, forget it, because there's nothing there gelling them to the ideology that is supposed to do it. Like, and part two, I'm going to talk more about commitment. We'll talk about creating commitment. But right now, I want to just talk about, just right quick, briefly, their ideologies. Like, if you're born in the United States, Your ideology is what you're committed to. Your belief that the United States is this or that. Whether or not you like the president, that doesn't matter. What you're still committed to is the idea of the country and the idea that your culture or the different sects that you allow yourself to be involved in, you are committed to those ideals. And as your ideals change, your affiliations begin to change. So same thing within a relationship. As your affiliations begin to change, as your thoughts begin to change, as the way you see things begin to change, if the way you communicate with your significant other, your spouse, doesn't change, then the relationship will drift apart, especially if there's no vision or anything tying you together to an ultimate end. So that's why it's important to have a vision, because if not, then what begins to happen is you begin to look at the relationship as pointless, as useless. Like, what's the point of me being here? Because we're not working towards anything. It's like having a car that doesn't drive. Like, you're going to get rid of it. You don't want to keep it because it does nothing for you. It does not benefit you. It doesn't get you anywhere. But if you don't have anywhere to go, then you definitely won't. You don't need a car if you don't have nowhere to go. But the moment you have somewhere to go, you need a vehicle to get you there. And a relationship is a great vehicle to get you to anything that you want to achieve in this life. Because we are relationship creatures. We're designed for relationships. We're hardwired. Our brains are designed to be in relationships. So, lastly, before I wrap this thing up, creating a vision starts with knowing why you need a vision. Why did you even get into the relationship or get married in the first place? So knowing why, one of the first things I did when I married my wife is I wrote a letter to myself on why I married her. And I commission anybody that is in a relationship or about to get in a relationship, especially if you're about to get married or about to get in a relationship, write down why you are choosing to get into a relationship with this person, or why did you in the past decide to get into a relationship with this person, and make sure they do it too. Make sure your significant other does that too. Don't just do it and then don't give them that same information, because what happens is you'll begin to look at that person in a way different way, in a stronger way, in a better way, but they won't have that knowledge that you have, and you'll tend to get ahead of them, and they won't be there, and you'll again be in love with the idea. So it's best if you're going to do this, and I strongly advise you do, write down what caused you or why you want to get into a relationship with this particular person. So start there. Why? It's like on the map, they tell you are here. That's what you're doing. Now we got to determine where we want to go, but we got to know why we're even doing where we are at this point, or where we were at a specific point. And, and understanding, what does going forward look like, or what did it look like when you first started out? What was the idea? What was the focus? What was the desire? What was the plan? If it's just to be together forever, that's not strong enough, because there's a lot of things that you commit to going to the gym forever, but you don't go. You commit to going 3 times a week, but that don't mean you're gonna go every 3 times every week. We commit to a lot of things. We say we want to do a lot of things, but until this dire, like a relationship is more, because a relationship is not like the gym, because the gym is not going to be something, not saying it's the same as not saying it's better or worse, but what I'm saying is the gym, you can afford to skip a couple days. Even within a relationship, sometimes you can skip a couple days, but the gym is not going to cost you, say, $10,000, $20,000, however much you got for a divorce and all the heartache and all that stuff. Missing a couple days at the gym, or even missing a month or 2, is not going to cause you as much heartache as a breakup or a divorce is going to cause you. And the effects are more long term in terms of your internal health, which is your health. Most people don't die from eating unhealthy and all that stuff. Of course, is a big contributor, and not working out is a big contributor. But the biggest things that people die from is heartache, unresolved issues, things that happen in their childhood that they don't get over. These are the things that cause the cancers and causes the different diseases within us, because it festers within our internal being, and that creates the stifling of the healing process. So you can't heal what you don't reveal. You can't heal what you don't correct. So those are the issues that cause you got people that's 100 some years old still eating pork every day, all day, every day. Because a lot of it is just unresolved issues that we keep buried inside, all the resentment and all the hurts and all that stuff that we keep buried inside. And that will affect your vision. That will affect your vision, your ability to see forward, because it's blinding you to what has happened. It's keeping you stuck in the past. It's keeping you stuck on looking backwards as opposed to looking forward. So I advise that you go back and you look at the things that have happened to you, the whys, the problems that you've had in the past, and things that people have done to you and said to you and all that kind of stuff. And you find a way to work it out. If you need coaching on that, I definitely will be willing to help you, because I'm getting ready to open up this coaching and take it to the next level. So if you need help on that, please email me at contact@relationshipsandchill.com. Subject: Coach R. Anthony, past issues or something like that. So just hit me up if you need help getting over that, and I will definitely help you. But those are the things that keep you stifled and keep you bound to the past and bound to repeating the same cycles. So you cannot progress, you cannot move forward, and you cannot even see forward when you got fog of the past blinding you. So this has to be something that you focus in on beforehand, or if you're in a relationship, this is something that you guys need to work together towards, work together through together in order to get and see where you want to go, and even going back to looking at your past and seeing what you wanted to happen is a good indication of how you projected things to be. But like I said, there are so many other moving parts that it's hard to just say do this and do that without having specific information, because there's a lot of details that people have hidden within them, a lot of things and combination of different resentments and issues that they have that kind of stops them from progressing. But this has to be something that is committed to by both. This has to be something, and it has to be an aim of both couples. Both parties in the relationship, I should say. Both parties have to look at it this way in order for it to work. Because the scripture says, how can two walk together unless they be in agreement? How can we walk to a destination without agreeing where the destination is? We can't. So we have to find a resolution for your vision and my vision. What does it look like? What is it going to take for us to get there? What do we have to do to get to that point? Without coming to that resolution and coming to that agreement, it just won't happen. We have to find a few things that we can agree on, a few ways that we look at it, like, what's my part in this? What's your part in this? How are you going to do this? How am I going to do this? Hey, we're going to work with each other. We're going to work together. And this is how it's going to look at the end of it all. This is how it's going to look. And we're working towards that end goal, that being in love, that being that happily ever after couple that people just see and be like, ugh. My Pusha T, ugh. But just that, just like, they love it so much, but they just like, man, y'all are just sickening because y'all are just so in love with each other. Y'all are just one. That's what me and my wife get everywhere we go. It just does not fail. But that's because we have fundamentally committed to helping each other become fulfilled in this life, and whatever it takes from the both of us, we're willing to do. We're willing to put in the time. We're willing to put in the work to make it work. No matter what happens, the struggles and all the different things that we go through, we're willing and committed to make it work. So in the next episode, part 2, I'm going to be talking about commitment. I'm going to be talking about creating a commitment within the relationship, like, and how it benefits both parties. So you guys definitely want to stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Definitely check us out on all the different platforms, YouTube, Instagram, all these different platforms where we're available. Reach out to us, say hello, and let us know what we can do to help you in your relationship progress further. So this has been Coach R. Anthony, and I am out of here, y'all. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Relationships and Chill. For more information on cultivating the relationship of your dreams, please follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Relationships and Chill, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at Relationships and Chill TV. You can also visit our website at www.relationshipsandchill.com. Together, let's make relationships great again.